All right, let's check the audio and be sure it's working. This is the first time I've really used cell phone
really used.
and it seems like it's working real well. It has very little delay, looks like, because almost a matter of 10 seconds, it actually came up on the screen as live, which I like that.
10 seconds.
So, just want to welcome each and every one while I walk over here on the other side of my studio to get me more coffee. Started using almond milk, something a little bit better flavor than plain milk. I've tried regular milk, whole milk, 2% milk, 1% milk, fat-free milk. Really wasn't giving me the flavor I want out of some kind of a milk. Pretty much get away from all these creamers, even though it says sugar-free, fat-free, and all that. But what they got in it is just as bad. And as much as I drink coffee, I need something a little bit better. So I decided to go with just regular almond milk and a sweet and low in it to bring out the flavor of it, which I can tell a big difference when I use it or don't use. I'm trying out Splenda. Usually I use sweet and low, but we'll see how that goes. So far it's good flavor and all, so I think I'll stick with it. I mean, I'm turning 60 this month, not too long from now. And I want to stay as healthy as I can. I want to see quite a few more years. But just a few things I want to talk about. I have done a little rearranging here in the studio to give myself more room so I can do things that I want to do in here a lot easier. I brought the monitors back onto the studio desk here instead of having it further away. I was able to see all three monitors. It's just the camera I have was not able to pick up the dry eraser board that well, which I'm going to start using in some of my WISP videos as diagrams and stuff when I'm talking about. So I had to move everything back closer. And also I had to keep the table for right now until I come up with something else where I can lay the equipment out when I go install the equipment so I can actually program it all. It saves almost like 30 minutes to 45 minutes because it's hard to see the laptop out there in the sun just like your cell phone. I'd rather sit here in the air condition or the heat, depends on what time of the year, and program all the equipment for the client and go ahead and drop it into their account. So pretty much all I got to do is go out there and install the equipment, point it to the right tower, activate their account, and show them their password and be sure their devices are connecting, and I'm gone. I mean, by doing that, I can install one in roughly about 30, 35 minutes, start to finish. as long as I don't have nobody there to talk to, because I get talking, it takes an hour and sometimes 2 hours just to install, because I love conversations with these people. That's what I like about when I did heating and air. I get to travel. I was doing service calls from Virginia state line of North Carolina all the way down to South Carolina and North Carolina state line. All I did was service and repairs. And I meet all kinds of people, never know where I was going to go. I may have to drive 2 hours to change the circuit board or replace a fuse or change a breaker. But they were happy to get their air conditioning on in the middle of the summer when other big companies around there said, yeah, we can put you on schedule to be at least 2 days. Yeah, I'll drive 2 hours just to make them happy and nice and cool. Them conversations, it's almost like sitting on your front porch with your grandfather or your father and just listen to all the stories. Sometimes they'll repeat the stories, but in a different way, things they left out the first time. But it's just the stories that you get to hear, things that happen that you would never known if you didn't meet these people. But getting back to the coffee creamer and all, as the point of trying to be healthy, because I'll be 60 this month. I don't feel it. The aches and pains and stuff like that normally you see and hear of older people starting to talk about, their joints, and they can't walk as good as they used to or whatever. Sometimes they when they're 70s or 80s, and some people I've seen that has issues when they get 50, 55. Well, I'm 60. I'm blessed that so far haven't had any of them issues. That's why I'm glad that I have this hobby of the WISP, to get out and meet people and get them internet, and keeps me moving. It keeps me from sitting around in the studio and just watching videos all day. That would be wonderful. But over time, it's not the ideal thing to do when you're getting older. You got to keep moving around. Like the old saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Well, I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to keep going as much as and long as I can. And talking about moving around, the temperatures around here have, thank you for subscribing, and hopefully you come around more. I'll try to do this every Saturday night. I'm trying to really get myself into doing this consistently, 2 videos a week and live on Saturday. And I'm doing this on the cell phone. Just be sure that it's all set up and ready to go, and it seems like it's working great. That way, it don't matter where I am. Like I was getting ready to say after somebody kindly subscribed, the temperatures around here are getting very warm, and even at nights, like right now, according to the app that's built into Windows, it says it is 67 degrees, and here it is, 9 o'clock. And the lowest for tonight is 66. So it's only going to drop 1 degree. And tomorrow it's going to be 80 and dropping to 54. And it looks like we're going to get a few cool days, Monday and Tuesday, only 66, 60, and 70, and at 40s, mid 40s at night for 3 days. And then it starts going right back up 53 at night. And what I'm mentioning that for is because I like doing my walks in different parks, in just nature, in general. There's a game land that's got, I forgot how many acres that's actually in there. I mean, it's way up there. And they got a road that pretty much goes right down the middle. It don't go all the way through, but it goes down to some kind of little cemetery. I only saw something like 4 or 5 headstones in there. But then you can take this path that's like 3, 4 foot wide and walk all the way to the other side. And there's lakes back there. But if you walk all the way around, all the way down in it and take that and get to the other side and then walk the main road, the paved road, all the way back around, it's 14 and a half miles. And I've done it. And I will be doing it again. It was nice. But yeah, I wanted to get back out in walking in parks and stuff and out in nature, you know, and just relax and make videos. I got to keep moving. And I got to probably go camping some more before it gets too hot. Because June, July, and August is usually the hottest around here, and that's when most people come in for vacation time at their RVs. And I've dedicated myself for them 3 months to not go camping or anything. Because I like to be in a tent, and it's just too hot to be in a tent. Even though I have, you know, power and I can run, you know, fans and stuff, but still it's just, and the bugs will be coming out, you know, and all. So I like it to the point where you up during the day, you're out and about, and at nighttime it's got that little chill where you may have to throw on a throw blanket just to take the chill off, breathe that cool air and get a good night's sleep. But I still want to hit all the states, and I've already made plans of where I'm going next. I just hadn't figured out exactly when, but I'm going to try to do that before, say, April, May, probably sometime this month or sometime next month, because that's all I got really left before June gets here. I mean, here it is, you know, 4 months in the year already. And I didn't really consider how, I guess, massive scale that the hobby that I took on is going to grow. I started out with one park, and now here I am getting ready to start finishing up the infrastructure for park number 13. I'm going there Monday. He's got the power on. He just physically or technically of paperwork and all that, and actually opened up on the books. All the inspections are done. All the red tape, they say, is done, and they gave him approval, and the light company came out there, tied the transformer to his meters, and that means I have power on my box now. So I can go put the switch in, put the other lock on the box. I've already got the box mounted, mount the pole, put the first AP up, pointed out where he's going to have his 30-some spots first. And then if that goes well, then he's going to landscape and clear and level and all the, well, he's already got pretty much the trees done. He just hadn't got the individual spots leveled out and rocked and stuff like that. So if the first 30 so actually works out, he sees it's going to be benefit to put another 30 in. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go pretty much 30, 35 spots each time until he gets up to like 300 and something, 325, 330, something like that. I think he's going to do quite well in that area because it's a short distance to basically anything you need. I mean, Lake Walkmall is like less than 30-minute drive. I think it's like a 22-minute drive, I think it is. If you put in the GPS leaving his place, I think it says 22 minutes to get to Lake Walkmall. So that alone for the summer, it should be, a good thing to make his place more inviting. I got to get back to doing repairs to the RV. I had in mind to get it all done by my birthday. That's not going to happen. Well, maybe birthday next year, but not this year. But that's one thing. When you get older, you're not on a clock of getting things done, because you have to work and all that. It's go fast enough to get things done, but don't go so fast that you wear yourself out and not really enjoy yourself. I want to do things that is a nice, steady pace. I got some walls I got to finish in there. I got the living room kitchen slide out. Half of it is done with insulation in it. It's got enough insulation now. When you walk in, that's what all you smell is insulation. Like it's a house that's just getting built. You walk in, you smell nothing but insulation. I got to tear out the other wall on the other end of that slide out. Then I need to change and replace the header on that slide out because it's bowing right there in the middle. So I got to get a 16-footer, 2x6. I do believe it's going to be a 2x6, 16-foot long. I have to cut it down because it's actually like 12 and a half feet. I don't want to cut myself short, so I'm going to get a 16 just to be sure I got enough. And I got to get 2 8-footers to put on each end to do the support. That's going to be a task, but it's not the first heavy construction thing like that I've ever done. So it's just a matter of taking your time and doing it right. I got to finish putting all my solar panels up. I think one more 100 watt I got to put on top that I've already got. I just hadn't got up there. I want to wait till summertime. So when I screw it to the roof, I can actually seal it and the heat will actually dry it quickly, not, just sitting there in cool weather. I want it nice and hot. I'd rather get up there and be hot and sweaty and all, and it'll dry like in 1 or 2 days and it'd be done. And I got the 170 watt that I used to have on the car until I moved up to over 2,000 watts in the car. I got a 300 watt panel on there now, but I moved up from 1,280 watts to 2,560 watts. Since I had the room and didn't have to change the wires, might as well build it as big as I can. But the 170 is going to go to a charger that is charging the battery on the RV itself. The 12 volts that feeds the lights, the motor, the blower motor, and the heater. Let's see, what else does it run? I do believe the igniter on there as well. I think it's all 12 volts on that. I don't think there's anything else that runs 12 volts. There's other things like the slide out motors and all that, but that's been disconnected. I'm not going anywhere, so I don't need to slide them in. I don't think there's anything else that's actually on 12 volts. Now I think about it, I don't think there is. But I want to be able to charge it if the power goes out. I want to be able to charge the battery. And the other 3 batteries I have will give me the 115 volts to, the TV and the internet. I have my Starlink. I throw that up there. Because if the power's out in the area, I know good and well my backhaul is not going to have any power either. I'll try it, but if it don't, I'm going to throw the Starlink and have the TV. It's got gas in there, so I'll be able to cook. The power run the refrigerator. And I'll have 1,200 watts of power to run all the 115 volt devices. Oh, and the fan in the bathroom, I do believe it actually runs on 12 volts. I think it does. But it's a lot of things I got to do, but it's nothing pushing, they say. I mean, I can take all summer. I got pretty much the leaks out of the RV. Now it's just to repair the damage that all the water done from the roof or the ceiling down. Replace all the studs, start putting the floor back. It's hard at first it was hard to get back to life after all that BS that I had to go through back in 2010, late part of 2010, all of 2011, and part of beginning of 2012. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, you can get my book, which is a link to it in the description below. Falsely Accused. And all I did was just sit there for 513 days. Never went to trial. Never went to courtroom for anything about it at all. Just sat there in that 7 or 8 foot by 12 foot room all by myself for 500 some days. Get out twice a day, but not every day, for 2 hours to take a shower, watch TV, chat with whoever else got out. But sometimes we'll sit there for a week and not come out of that room because somebody act a fool and hit the sprinkler system in their room, and then it's a lockdown and no telling how long it's going to last. And it don't have to be in the pod where you're at. Somebody done it somewhere else, and they pretty much, the whole place is locked down. It was very hard, but it don't matter what happens in your life. It don't matter how far life brings you down by what others say or what they do. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. I lived through that personally for the 500 some days. And for the first 2 or 3 years, it was hell to get back to some kind of normal of living. Because different noises remind you of being there. Things you see on TV will remind you of being there. Couldn't watch anything like police shows, NCIS or anything like that. Somewhere that you see people getting locked up or whatever. It just, brings that back. And sometimes I'll sit in my studio watching videos, and my mind would just wander away and go back them days. And I just have to be thankful that I'm no longer there. I made it through it. Was not easy. It has made me more cautious of who I associate with, how much BS I take from anybody before I just cut them out of my life. If I see any kind of potential of them trying to take me voluntarily or involuntarily down the wrong road or path, I get off of that path before it even gets a possibility of becoming materialized, of getting me there. I guess you can call me more of a introvert now, more than I used to be. I never really got into crowds. Pretty much the biggest crowd I like getting into was going to the movie theater. Never went any class reunions or anything like that. Didn't go to football games, soccer games, or anything like that, big events of the schools back when I was in high school. Never went. I just don't like getting in crowds. I like to be not isolated, but in a small gatherings. That's just the way I've always been. So being in that room, isolated from others most of the time, I was able to really cope with it because I felt almost comfortable of being there and not stressing out because I'm away from the population. I didn't have to have a lot of people around me. So that in that perspective, it actually helped me to deal with being isolated. If I was the kind of person that have to be around people all the time, it would drove me nuts because I couldn't do it. But being a introvert, it kind of helped me. It didn't drive me nuts. And something else I want to get back doing as well is doing the gig work, the catering, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart. I just like driving around and I want to get back into it. I think it was sometime in the first week of March is the last time I'd done any. I hadn't turned on any of the apps except what was the app? The one that does the catering, Expedite. It automatically turns on when I start my phone. But I got it set to decline every order that comes in because I can go in there when it does it and tell it to send it back to me if it's still available, if I want it. But the response percent on my account is going up tremendously because each time it declines one, it counts toward your response time. And it's going up like crazy. I mean, it's like I had it like 70%, 70, I think it's 73, 74%, because I didn't always have my phone with me. But when it's tell it to automatically decline, I got it over 90% now because it just declines them all and it counts as I responded. And sometimes I'll look at them and see what they are. But since other things have been going on, mother-in-law has passed. That's been pretty much keeping me busy and doing all, helping with that. It's not easy when you lose somebody. But all that's getting put into the past and getting taken care of. We're on the other side now, the final little stages. So I can actually get back doing things that I was doing before, doing the catering and all the gig work, driving around, getting back to my walks since the weather and all. Sometimes you just have to stop life when things happen and take care of things so you can get back to life. When you get older, it's the little things that really matter, like getting up in the morning and just have a cup of coffee. It reminds us that we have it, we've made it through another day. We are blessed to have another day that will motivate us to go through that day so we can get to the next one. Never know when your last day is going to be. Each day becomes more precious and more important and has more value. Don't matter how old you are, you never know when your last breath will be. And as you get older, that becomes even more relevant. And you become more cautious of it. Because I can pass away in the middle of the night because my age and getting older and all, but I don't feel it so far. I'm not on no medication unless you count coffee as medication. But I can pass away just as much as a 20-year-old that's driving down the road and somebody runs in this T-bones them in the intersection. You never know when your time is up. Even when you're young, you need to be blessed and thankful that you have each and every day that you wake up. Because you never know when it's going to be taken away from you. That goes the same for your family. Never neglect them. Say, oh, we'll go see John, next summer. Maybe you should go more often. Maybe you should call him more often because you never know. You may call them and they don't answer. Find out they are no longer here. You never know. Life is too short, regardless how old you live. You can live 100 years old and life is short. That's why I retired early at 45. That's why I travel every chance I get. I'm still planning on hitting every state. Not just drive through it, but actually stay there and spend at least 24, 48 hours exploring that state in whatever location I decide to stay at. And since I got a tent now, actually two of them, I can really explore each state. And sometimes, before them 3 months, June, July, and August, right before pretty much spring and fall, is when I'm going to have to hit the northern states before it gets too cold. But really won't matter because I got gas heat and I have power for electric blankets, and works great. I turn electric blanket on medium or even high if I wanted to, but them think that ones I got, if you put anything over, it goes through 1 through 10, and pretty much anything over 3, I wake up in the middle of the night sweating like I ran a marathon. So pretty much I put on 1 and tell it to stay on for 8 hours. When I start getting cold, if I do, then it's time to get up because I got my 8 hours in. So that's going to help be able to get them northern states accomplished of checking off my list. But don't let other people run your life. Don't matter what they say, don't matter what they do. I've had people say things and accuse me of things that one of them has put me behind the bars for, the 500 days, but it didn't make me want to stop. It made me want to move on even faster and harder to get out of there and get back to life. And I'm glad I stuck it out. I'm better off now than I was before I went in because I'm stronger as a person. I take things even more serious and value things more than I did in the past. I mean, I valued life before, but I'm more cautious of the people that I stay around, so I can make my life even better with no BS to deal with. People say they're your friends and stuff, but that goes back to another saying, keep your friends close and your enemies even closer, because they're the one that's going to screw you over. But you got to distinguish which ones are what. Even some friends will do you wrong and then try to apologize and get on your good grace side again, and so they can do it again. And they'll keep doing it for years until you tell them to pile sand. And that's what you have to do. Get rid of the headache. It's just like even everything in life is that way, basically, in my life. And that's the way I treat it. It's like I had 2 or 3 people saying, well, if you don't come out here and fix my internet, regardless if it's Sunday or not, well, you can come out here Monday and get your equipment and I'll do away with the internet. Great. I'll see you Monday. I'll remove it. Then I don't have to deal with your BS. That's one, I'll do away with the money. I don't need it. But if that's the way you're going to be and I can get rid of you that easy, I'll see you Monday morning. I had to do that to 2 or 3 different people. That's not a threat to me that you're going to, do away with the service and think you're going to hurt me because you're taking money out of my pocket. Even when I was running heat and air company, I've had people do that. If you can't come out here on Saturday and fix my air condition, I'll call somebody else. Great. Go for it. I don't even have to show up at all. And I didn't regret none of it because I didn't have to deal with that kind of attitude of BS from that particular person. Because if they do it once, they're going to nag you from there on. Because if they can nag you and make you come out there and fix their internet or fix their heating and air unit, they're going to nag again regardless of what time or what day of the week it is, to get you to come out there. So I'm just washing my hands and say, well, you find somebody else. Because I'll find somebody to replace you that's got better attitude, common sense, living in reality, and don't have no BS. Don't let people run your life. Don't let people run your life to the point where they ruin your life. It's not worth it. You have to stand firm. It might be somebody that you've known for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. It don't matter. Tell them to pile sand and walk away. Life is too short. I want to thank each and every one of you that came by and watching and listening. Actually listening, because you're not watching anything but a photo, looks like, which I'm glad it actually works. So I can do this mobily, so I can actually not have to be here in the studio to do this. I can be out and about, riding down the road if I want to, sitting on the beach, go four-wheeling. That's something else I want to get back into. I paid for the whole year and I want to get back out there. Live a very relaxing life. I don't know when or what day that's going to be my last one. I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. It may be tomorrow. It may be 10, 15 years from now. I might be one of them blessed ones that live to be 100 years old. I mean, it's something that, a trait that kind of goes in my family. I mean, my father passed when he was 90. That means if I do that, that's another 30 years. But then again, I look at my grandmother on my mother's side. She lived till she was 98. So if I just average them two together and come somewhere in the middle of them two, I'd be great. But I don't know. I might not get 90, up to 90 years. I might get up to maybe 90 more days from today. I don't know. But I don't think about it. Like, oh man, be erratic about my health, what I'm eating and everything else, really go overboard about it. I don't. I just be cautious about everything. As I got older, I eat smaller portions of what I normally eat. I eat a lot of fruit, pretty much something that I've always done, but I just do more of it now. I cut out a lot of stuff I used to eat, sweets and stuff like that, Pop-Tarts, just little things that I used to snack on, pastries and stuff. I just slowly, gradually migrated in more healthy eating throughout the day. I don't go overboard. I don't go out there and walk, 5, 10, 12 miles a day, every day. No, I get out there, once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, and do some nice walking. And the weather's getting to be that kind of walking weather. And the great thing is, the place I like walking the most, which has abundantly of paths all over it, is where I do the WISP the most, the internet. I think it's like 9, I think I got 9, 10, 11. I think I got like 8 or 9 parks, RV parks in Sneeze Ferry, and that's where I love walking. So I can get there early in the morning, like 6:30 or so, and go walking and then go do an install. It's cooler in the morning anyway because, the sun hadn't been up long enough to warm up. So you'll see more videos gradually coming in of me actually out there walking. And there's no telling where I'll be doing this live broadcast. Maybe in the studio, maybe on the phone, maybe somewhere out there camping. Never know. But thank you for coming by. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you got something from this, and leave your comments. And thank you for all the ones that subscribe to the channel, all the ones with the likes, and all the ones that shared. And I will be here if the Lord don't come and the creek don't rise, and the Lord sees fit that I be still here. I'll be right back here next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, broadcasting live. Until next time, thank you and have a wonderful, wonderful Easter. And if you're here after Easter watching this, have a wonderful day. Thank you and God bless.